for the introduction. I'm Josie Fernandez, the Secretary General of Transparency International Malaysia, and I'm here on behalf of the organization. We do not have a written statement, but our board discussed, our executive committee discussed the expose, and these are our responses to this excellent expose with many allegations. I wish to underscore that the expose you saw is the face of corruption in Malaysia on a daily basis. It is the face of corruption, where licenses and tenders are given out without any transparency and accountability, bribes, kickbacks, tax avoidance, selling influence, it's very clear here, and going to jurisdictions which are tax havens to keep or to deposit the gains made from corruption. So what you saw in this expose is the face of corruption in Malaysia. Now the expose, with all its allegations, shows how corruption has undermined the rights of indigenous communities and their livelihoods. Indigenous communities have inextinguishable or inalienable rights to land and access to livelihood. The expose further shows how corruption has led to the destruction of our natural forests, national heritage. And as the expose showed, that in Sarawak, only 5% of natural forests, natural virgin forests are left. Further, natural resources are treated as the personal property of the ruling elite, regardless of national laws and international conventions that Malaysia has ratified and has implemented some of them. So corruption has become systemic in this country. Capturing state resources so effectively cannot be done without coordination, patronage, and the cooperation of government officials and departments. So finally, this is the introduction. Corruption is driven, as you can see from the expose, at which Transparency International has continuously highlighted. Corruption is driven by politicians, government officials, and their business partners, assisted by a bevy of sometimes consultants, lawyers, foreign financial institutions like banks and so forth. And therefore, Transparency International calls for the following actions. One, we welcome the statement which was quoted by Al Jazeera last night in its global news that from MACC, and we are aware of this, Transparency International is aware of this. We welcome that MACC is investigating the Chief Minister of Sarawak, Muhammad Taib. We welcome that. However, the investigation seems to be taking a very long time and a very long process. Therefore, like most progressive and open democracies, those who are being investigated should resign first, so that investigations can be carried out without any influence or interference by those in power. We hope Prime Minister Najib Razak will call upon the Chief Minister of Sarawak to resign as the Chief Minister until investigations by MACC are completed, and if he is found innocent, there is no case against him, then he can come back as the Chief Minister of Sarawak, because he has still a few years left. Number two, we think the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission premises should move out of Putrajaya. Being so close to the seat of power, I think, I'm not saying there's some black magic or anything, but what I'm saying, its independence, which it has stated it is independent, seems to be somewhat, what you call, as if it is not so independent. Although MACC has stressed many a time that it is an independent commission. Independent commission should, I think, be located in independent premises and independent location. So, otherwise, Putrajaya has its CCTV cameras or all kinds of gadgets these days that one can use to learn what kind of investigations are going on and so forth. Number three, I think the issue of tax evasion is very, very clear. Therefore, we call upon the Internal Revenue Board, the Income Tax Board, to determine if there has been tax evasion by those who have been shown in this film, in this documentary, including the lawyers. I think that is because Malaysia is losing millions, if not billions, of dollars through tax evasion based on these allegations. Next, we would, those who avoid tax go to jurisdictions which are tax havens. Singapore in particular has been mentioned here, and this is of concern to us. So we hope Singapore is not facilitating illicit flow of money. Yeah, money laundering is one of the issues that Transparency International is also addressing, particularly money laundering in timber trade. Therefore, we hope the Monetary Authority of Singapore would also undertake its own investigations. Now, we would also like to hear from the Sarawak Forestry Department how licenses have been granted to these parties, the Land and Survey Department, all the departments that have been mentioned in the documentary. We call upon them to respond to these allegations. We also would like to hear from the Bar Association of Sarawak. A lawyer has been featured here, and he does not deny that it is him. He does not deny that at all. Only thing he says that he is merely explaining a hypothetical situation. I think we all have enough intelligence to determine what is hypothetical and what is real. Okay. And I'm not calling upon the Malaysian bar because you know that our lawyers cannot practice in Sarawak. So perhaps if there are lawyers in the audience, who could explain this. But it is I think, the duty of the Sarawak bar to respond to these allegations and to explain to Malaysians what kind of investigations is going to carry out, whether any disciplinary action will be taken on this lawyer. We would also like to call for some constitutional reforms. I think this what is happening in Sarawak, with only 5% of forest left, cannot be allowed to go on, because natural resources fall under the purview of the state. Now, the Director General of Forestry in Peninsular Malaysia has no powers at all over Sabah and Sarawak in relation to forestry. Absolutely none. He is only the Director General for Forestry for Peninsular Malaysia. And the only way to change this would be to look at the Constitution. Or, we have the National Physical Plan, which protects some of the important environmental sites in Malaysia. Perhaps to bring all forests in Sarawak under the National Physical Plan and under the purview of the federal government. So these are some of our initial, there's a whole list of things one could go on, but I think for Malaysians, we need some immediate and effective responses from the ruling government. And we call upon the government in power, or I don't know if it is still in power, but since elections are not announced, they are still in power. We call upon the government in power to show the political will. That it is prepared to take some bold and effective actions to address widespread corruption in this country, beginning with the allegations in this expose. And the time has come now, or the people of Malaysia will stand up. Thank you.